Hello, welcome to the Waste of Web Space podcast, episode 91. How are you doing, Fisher?
Starring
Jimbo.
And Fisher.
And this episode is entitled Tory, Parasites / Gangsters Paradise. Always like to start with a song title type thing, don't we? So that's because I thought I'd go with this because the budget is about to be announced this week, is that right?
I don't really know. I've not been paying that much attention.
On Wednesday, I think they're doing they're doing the budget. You know, the old red briefcase sort of thing.
I thought they did the budget in October nowadays.
I think they just do it whenever they want, don't they? Whenever they need to tighten the purse strings.
No, I don't think they do it whenever they want. I don't think you're really allowed to do that. I think there is a set fingers chance where you can do it at certain prescribed times. I thought nowadays they did it in October. I think they used to do it in
Unless they do it twice a year.
Well, they used to do it in March and then do sort of an autumn statement, but then decided to move it to, when Philip Hammond was Chancellor, he decided to move it to October, or October-November time, so it gave people enough time and chance to plan for the budget coming into effect later on in April, so you got a bit more planning time.
Well, they're definitely doing something in April, in May, in next week in March. Well, this week in March. It's March this week. They are definitely doing something. So here is our episode title, episode 91, Tory Parasites or Gangsters Paradise. I've wanted to have a go at rap for a while, Fisher, so, you know, trying to show all of my range that I've got, my different, across different genres, and this is a chance to have a go at rap. Is that all right?
Yeah, let's listen to it. Let's see how you get on.
As Richie stands in the stalls and he takes a deep breath, he looks at the accounts and realises there's no left, cause we've been borrowing and spending so long, and because of COVID now all the money is gone. If Amazon and Costa paid their tax, the rich have different rules hiding theirs in tax havens, and if you're Matt Hancock and you've been awarding PPE contracts to your mates who don't have PPE. I really hate to moan, but it's a joke. 22 billion on track and trace, the whole system's broke. Fools, Tories with second homes saying money's tight, while there's children hungry in our schools and people sleeping under street lights. Been spending most our cash, lining the pockets of Tory parasites. Been spending most our cash, lining the pockets of Tory parasites. Been spending most our cash, lining the pockets of Tory parasites. Been spending most our cash, lining the pockets of Tory parasites. How do you think I did?
Oh, that wasn't quite as bad as I thought it was going to be. I'm not sure. Is there actually any issue with Costa Coffee paying tax? Are you getting confused between them and Starbucks?
Possibly. They're all. I'm sure they're all at it.
Oh yeah, fine. Yeah, I mean we've got no evidence of that, but nonetheless, we'll out them as being tax dodgers. So yeah, think about that.
I thought they were both. I thought they were both. In the past, being accused of various things to do with tax. But anyway.
Okay. I think that.
And plus, Starbucks didn't quite go into the rap quite as easy as Costa.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm not disagreeing with that point, but yeah,
I'll correct myself later. Latte.
Yeah, Rishi Sunak did a summer statement in July last year. He also did a winter economy plan, and it sounds like he's actually doing a full budget in March, which tends to more often than not be the time of a spring statement as opposed to a budget.
There we go. Do you want to do any breaking news, Fisher? 1 second, here we go. What have you been up to?
Been washing the cars. Which is why I'm wearing this shirt,
Big
actually.
news.
If you see this, Penistone FM 95.7 community radio. I listen to Penistone FM. Now, this is a shirt that this could be a show and tell item, really, couldn't it?
Yeah, it could.
This is a shirt that I wear for washing cars. I'm not going to say how I acquired it, because as I say, it might come up as a show and tell item at a later date. But yeah, there could, for example, be your name written in the back of it. I might have got it from a charity shop. Who knows?
Possibly.
So yeah, I've been washing the cars because we're recording this a little bit later than we do normally, only by sort of an hour or so. And I thought, well, I've got an hour to try and do something, so quickly ran outside and washed the cars. And you may hear a bit of noise in the background, which is some kind of strange plane flying overhead, which I think is going over between around near where I live and also near where you live as well. So our listeners may be able to hear it in the background on both of our endpoints.
Possibly, yeah, possibly.
How about yourself? I mean, Penistone FM really is a great radio station.
It is.
I mean,
I don't know if you know, but I used to do a radio show there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't listen to it much. I mean, it's got quite a bit better in the last couple of years since that person has moved on from doing the Sunday brunch program.
Very funny.
That's much better now. That was the real dark spot of it, I felt. Which show did you do again, Jimbo?
I did the one on a Sunday morning, the Sunday brunch show.
Did you? Oh, sorry, I
that's
can't
awkward,
believe that.
isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. What are the chances? But no, to be fair, I mean, in all honesty, your program was pretty much the only one I ever listened to.
There's some great programs on there, to be fair, though. I'm a particular fan of the breakfast show. Steve on the breakfast show on Saturday morning he does some really good stuff, and he has some really good guests on. He's had he does a lot with the sort of non-league club, because obviously like Penistone Church are in non-league, and so he does a lot with them. But he's also had professional referees on. I think he's had who else? He had, I think Uriah Rennie's been on possibly, but he's also had other sort of professional referees and stuff like that on there as well. So some really good guests in the past.
Yeah, are you sure he's had a professional referee on, or would you like to review that answer?
I'll have to check. I'll ask VAR, shall I?
Yeah.
Anyway,
go and consult the monitor and see what you think.
So
yeah, how about yourself?
Breaking news of it. Just kind of life's been busy running a pub since I opened my ale and audio pub. I've got my beer clips, by the way, so as soon as you're up and running and we can broadcast from our separate pubs or the pub together, I will get the Waste of Web Space beer clip on the pump. I've had to change two. I'm really unlucky, me, because I use Pint 365 to supply the beer pump to me, and I had two faulty cylinders that was leaking. And when I've sort of gone on the forums and stuff, it's an occasional problem people have, not as soon as they get them. And they don't get two in a row, and I've been really unlucky. But now it is up, it's set up, it's running perfectly. Pint 365 have been brilliant, and they really got the, as soon as I had a problem, next day delivery sent me a new thing out. But I'm now very good at cleaning beer lines, so I'm learning all these kind of things I used to do in pubs years ago when I used to work for the Warncliffe Arms, which is on Burncross Road. Still going. I think it's under new sort of management hands now as well. So exciting times for the pub there. But I used to do things like a bit of beer line cleaning there. But I also did something else this week. So with the cylinders that I got sent, I had to change the cylinders in the pump, and I thought that was a pretty good skill to have learned. So there you go.
Oh, well done! Congratulations. I mean, how did you do it? Did you just unscrew it and screw the new one in? Yeah,
it's a bit of unscrewing, bit of Jubilee clip unscrewing and tightening and clamping and all these things I don't understand, but anyway, it was all good to learn. So,
how much drink actually ended up either on the floor or all over yourself?
Well, this is it. So I bought a barrel of Doom Bar from a supermarket because I didn't want to go to a local brewery and kind of buy their beer that I really really wanted, and I didn't want to waste any by having a go with the first time using a mini keg and this pump, because there's a bit of a sort of hack sort of technique to using a mini keg. So it was Friday morning, I was ready, got the new pump all in place, so I went to set it up, and I followed the instructions of sort of getting a mini keg sort of linked up to your pump. You've got to let the air out, and then you've got to poke in the bung on the top, and I did that, and I had a face full of Doom Bar at 8 o'clock in the morning. But I didn't lose much, so but the passing trade's been terrible. I mean, I've just opened, but it's been really quiet in there. Nobody's been in except me. I had a few fights with myself. I had to bar myself a couple of times, and but talking about pubs and beer, shall we get onto our beer?
You can do. I mean, just sort of when you mentioned a moment ago, so I can't really mention, but you said something about. Oh, sorry, was it called Beer 365? Where you get your beer
Pint
from?
365.
Pint 365. Sorry, I saw an advert for some local company a few days ago. And to be honest, I can't actually remember what the name of it was. And I'm assuming that this particular place is closed on Christmas Day, Boxing Day, Easter Sunday, maybe, or New Year's Day, or something along those lines, because they advertise themselves as being open 7 days a week, 362 days a year, which I kind of thought, was a bit of a strange way of putting it, because normally you talk about being 365 days a year, not 362. So maybe chuckle anyway.
Okay, big shout out to Luke Fernley, by the way, who's been in touch and really enjoyed the rap. So at least we got somebody appreciating the rap effort there. Thanks, Luke.
Yeah.
Shall we move on to talk about beer? Now,
let's talk about beer.
Well,
yeah.
it's
Go on.
So to get our beers for our podcast, it's a nightmare being a Sheffield Wednesday fan and now owning my own or having my own sort of pub shed, because the two things combined equal drinking too much. Because if you saw what happened yesterday, Sheffield Wednesday were nicely winning after the first half 2-0 and only to lose the game 3-2. So when you're in a sort of beer environment, it's very easy to sort of start drowning your sorrows. So I would say that if you do get your own pub shed, just be very careful how much you end up drinking and so on. So anyway, I'm going to get my glass so I can pour my drink. So my drink today then is wrong glass. Sorry, I'll not use That's just when Sheffield Wednesday are playing. Now, the drink I've got today is, on Sundays, we eat spaghetti. And, I know, I got this from La Di Da in Chapeltown.
Yeah.
And it's from the Pressure Drop Brewery. I'm not 100% sure where they are. N17 is the postcode, so I'm presuming the Nottinghamshire area, would you say?
N17, I think so, yeah. Sounds right.
I will Google it in a second, but it's a English Pils, 4.5%. So I'm probably expecting it to maybe be a bit lagerish, possibly. There we go. So I'll give this a go. On Sundays we eat spaghetti and we do podcasts and so on. So Fisher, what about you?
N17 is in London, the Tottenham area of London.
I was nowhere near then. So there you go.
Yeah, a bit unsure on that because I know NE and NW are London, but I wasn't too sure about N itself. Basically, N, I think, stands for North London, doesn't it?
Right, okay.
So, yeah, Tottenham Hale, Walthamstow, that kind of area. Yeah, there we go. So, that looks all right. Bit of a head on it.
Yes.
I've got, I think I might have had this before, it's on the podcast, some Hobgoblin Ruby Ale, 5.2%, which I'm sure I've already seen this before, where it's been, where it's brewed and bottled in the UK, but it doesn't particularly say whereabouts. Winchwood Brewery. For Marston's PLC, Winchwood Brewery, which is in Witney, Oxfordshire, which is where David Cameron used to be the Member of Parliament for, I believe, in Witney. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we'll see what this is like. I've just noticed on the bottleneck this is out of date by quite a little bit, but we'll see what it's like. But this might be interesting. Might taste a little bit stronger, but it's in a sealed bottle. It'll be fine, won't it?
Well, the stronger the alcohol percentage, generally the longer it keeps. Is that right? In fact, La Di Da told me that, which you kind of would have imagined that anyway. But La Di Da was very helpful with advising me on the type of beer and so on that I could get for my hand pull. So thank you for that advice. Was
it Wayne who was working there?
It was, yes. There we go.
Yeah, that was good. You know what we're talking about.
Do you want to do show and tell first, before we move on to headlines and stuff like that?
Yeah, I can do. Let's do that. Let's do my show and tell item. And I've. Do you want to see my rod, Jimbo?
I beg your pardon. I thought we are doing it. We are doing a bit of innuendo stuff later on, but I don't know we're starting this early.
Do you want to see my rod? It's about 18 inches long.
Get your rod out. Here it is. Very nice.
Here we go. That's my show and tell item today. It's a rod, so you can see just there. Okay. I can see you through there, Jimbo. It's a
second name, Stuart.
That might be a nickname for it. As you can see, it's not really a huge amount to say. It's just a rod. I mean, it's broken there at the top of it, by the way. Bottom a bit of it's.
Is this going to be about guessing what it's from?
Well, yeah. It's just kind of. How has this come into my possession?
Okay.
Is it? This metal rod was taken from a drawer in an office in Burnley as a memento of my first ever experience of working on site in my old job. I took it home with me, and I found it quite recently when I was doing a bit of clearing out. Or secondly, this metal rod was part of my TV aerial, which fell down this week in high winds.
Right, okay.
So, I don't know if you've got questions to ask on either of those.
Do you often take other people's rods, if it's the first one?
I often delve around in their drawers and take out their rods, Jimbo, as you well know. No, no, I don't. I don't often look for people's rods. Clearly, however, in the old job that I used to have, we used to go out onto site every now and again and work at another company's premises while they were closing down, and we'd assist in that process. And I would always take something as a memento from that company, just as a, and it always used to be something quite random.
So you used to strip them of their assets and then take anything else that was left?
Yeah, I mean, this rod, I mean, I don't know much about it. It's got some kind of blood or something on there. I mean, I'm not too sure. Yeah, so I found this kind of in a drawer, and I thought, yeah, I don't quite know what I was looking. I found it relatively early on I was there for a few days. I found it relatively early on, and I thought, it's a bit unusual, isn't it? I think I was looking for like some stationery in the drawers, like a stapler or something. Found that and thought, yeah, it's a bit unusual. I might take that just as and just like keep it as a thing of.
So what other things have you taken then as part of your former job where you used to take? You're almost like a serial killer who sort of takes sort of items to remind themselves, of trophies and so on. That's
trophy killer. Which I'm not. I hasten to add. I once I actually took an award from one company that they'd won.
Okay, what was it for? What was it for? Well-managed finances.
But it wasn't. No, it wasn't that. It wasn't that. Unfortunately, it was some kind of award for this company did sort of like bathrooms and kitchens and all that sort of stuff. So it was like sort of, I don't know if they won it or not, or it might have been second place, but it was certainly some kind of award from the British Kitchen Awards or something like that. Is one that I took. Occasionally, I took various bits of stationery. I think I once took a spirit level from one company. Again, it's normally stuff that's fairly random and.
It wasn't doing very good spirit, was it?
Hey. Yeah, so it generally used to be something that's.
So where do you keep all of these things, and have you still got them all? Because you seem to have kept one of the unusual ones, which is a pipe, a rod.
I think I've got most of them dotted around, but I was doing a bit of clearing out and a bit of tidying up because not much else to do at the moment, is there? And we used to have a sideboard in our living room. But we recently got new carpets fitted. So when we had the carpets fitted, we moved the sideboard out of the living room and to get new carpets in. And we kind of thought, actually, why don't we not bother putting the sideboard back in? Because it just takes up quite a lot of space. And the sideboard generally is just full of rubbish, including a metal rod like this that serves
I'm not sure your wife would be happy with a metal rod just sort of laid around.
Well, no, it was in the cupboard in the sideboard.
I'm not sure she'd be happy with it in the cupboard.
It was just like chucked at the back of it, so
she didn't see it.
No, it was just it got loads of other rubbish kind of stored in front of it. So and there were a couple of other bits in there, including this trophy. The spirit level ultimately ended up in my toolbox, I think.
Why choose the rod rather than a trophy as part of your show and tell?
Well, the trophy has the company's name on there, so it might be a bit misleading as to kind of what it had been won for. The trophy might make an appearance at some point. Actually, no, it can't.
Does the company either of the award that you've stolen, or the lead, or the pipe, whatever it is, the rod that you've stolen, do they still exist in any form?
No, not particularly. I think they might have a website, they might have a brand name, but the company itself isn't there anymore.
Defunct.
They are defunct, yeah.
Okay.
Nothing to do with theft of relatively immaterial items from their property, I hasten to add.
Right.
After they'd already gone bust, effectively.
Let me go on to the second one then. So the second one is that it's part of your TV aerial.
It was, yeah.
That was causing you some distress.
No, not at all. It just that the TV aerial in the high winds this week blew down and kind of came off the top of the house, and it broke.
Did you hear this happen, or did you find it the next day?
I found it the next. Well, I don't know because I don't know when it happened.
Okay.
To be fair, it could have. I found it hanging by the actual cable, and it had kind of collapsed off. This bit had remained in place intact. If you can see there, it sheared, and that's where it just collapsed off.
How did you get it down?
So that bit stayed up. I don't know if you're aware of something, but there's this force in nature called gravity.
Right. So it came. So it wasn't hanging off. You didn't have to climb up to remove it or anything. It was already down.
No, it snapped, came down. It was hanging by a thread, literally by a thread, by the aerial cable thing. So it was just swinging around in the wind. Poor thing.
And how's your TV signal now?
Well, it's been put back up.
Oh right, okay. So it's all right. It's working. Did it affect your TV signal at all?
It didn't actually, because we've got a satellite dish, so the aerial is actually fairly useless. But nonetheless, it has been put back in place.
Is that how it works then? Because people still use aerials, but that connects to digital now, doesn't it? So is that through your satellite dish rather than anything else?
Well, we've got a satellite dish, even though we've not got Sky, so we've got FreeSat. So I think the aerial is for use with Freeview and sort of the old terrestrial TV.
Okay.
So I mean, to be honest, most of the TV we watch is catch up on the internet anyway. So
your TV's working fine and everything now. What are you going to do with the rod?
I'm going to put it in the. I'm going to go to Burnley, find an office, and stick it back in the drawer there. I think is what I'm planning on doing.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, the TV aerial is back up in place. We got a fella called I'm not sure if you've heard him, called Rod Hull, who came and fitted it for us. Who did Rod? I think Rod Hull fell off a roof when he was changing his television aerial and died. Didn't he? Is that right? So yeah, it's back up in where it should be.
I am going to. I think I'm going
to. Have you got more questions, or do you want to?
I think I might be ready to go for it. I mean,
okay.
Just on the. So did it? You didn't hear anything. It just came. You found it the next day. You didn't think there was any issue. You didn't notice it. Well, obviously you weren't. Your telly wasn't coming through that aerial anyway. So you just found it the next day. There it is, and decided you're going to use it in your show and tell.
Yeah, I mean, I found it. To be fair, it could have been like that for weeks. I mean, I don't think it is, but it's not as though you particularly spend ages checking down the side of the house. I'm assuming when it was windy, it fell down, and that's how I found it. I'm assuming it came down probably the night before.
So I don't think that you'll have taken this from an office, because I think you would have taken something better, and I don't think you'd be allowed to keep it for that long either, because it's quite some time ago. That you were doing that job, so I don't think you'd still have that old rod. I think it's more recent, so I think it is that it blew down from your aerial. I was going to say, like, it looks a bit like maybe like a part of a pole of what you put, like a parasol.
All right, yeah.
It looks a little bit like that. So I thought that's what it might be at first, but I can see that. So yeah, I'm going to go with that one, the second one, I think.
So it's part of my television aerial.
Yeah.
You'd be correct. Well done.
Well, nice one. Very good. Thank you very much, Fisher.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to more detail.
I think I had a mini panic then. He says we've been recording for 47 minutes, but we definitely haven't been. I think the Facebook Live times are out for some reason. But anyway, what was you going to finish off with saying there?
Yeah, I think they're going for about 20, 25 minutes, something like that.
Yeah,
so it did come down at some point. I was talking to my next door neighbour briefly around Wednesday lunchtime, and I was telling him that the cricket was on. If you put Channel 4 on, I'd be able to see the cricket. As I was chatting to him, I could hear sort of this like banging noise. What's that loud noise coming from? A bit inconsiderate making that noise, whoever's making it. And then I could hear it banging again while I'm chatting to him. That's a bit loud. I thought it was on my other next door neighbour's other side of their house, and that kind of leads onto another street. I thought it was coming from over there, and then there was it banging again a bit more. I could get a sense it was a bit nearer to me than I thought it was, but nonetheless, I was still not happy about the sheer amount of noise that this inconsiderate person was making. And then when I walked to have a look, it turned out that it was me making the noise. It was my television area that come down from the roof.
So you've probably been annoying people for a while with your noise that you were making.
Yeah, it was when I went back inside, I could then hear it quite a lot during the day. So I don't know at what point it came down. I would have thought if it had fallen down, I would have heard him, and it would have been quite a loud bang. 'Cause it's quite big, obviously. And a big thank you very much to Gary, who came round with his ladders and went and put it back up for me. So thank you very much.
Good on you, Gary. So I thought we'd move on. Now, we have got a headline and stuff, but I thought I'd keep that more towards our news section because we don't have particularly loads of news. So I thought we'd move on to my feature, if that's all right.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And you started off with a bit of innuendo earlier on, didn't you? Sort of saying, look at my rod. Well, we're going to do some innuendo now because I was watching... I tried to introduce my daughter to Harry Potter. Not personally. This is Harry. This is Harry Potter. He's obviously not a real person, Harry Potter, but there are people out there called Harry Potter, which is unfortunate. But anyway, I was watching it, and one of the lines in it just sort of stood out to me and made me think, well, that's a bit... hearing that alone sounds a bit, a bit rude sort of thing. And then I thought, I wonder how much innuendo is actually in Harry Potter. So I started looking into it. And then I thought, you know what I could do? I could do some sort of quiz where I mix up innuendo from Harry Potter with purposeful innuendo from things like Carry On Camping and so on. But then when I looked into it, Carry On Camping, it's mostly like it's like dialogue rather than just one-liners, so it weren't really going to work. So what I've decided to do is there seems to be quite a lot of innuendo in Harry Potter alone. So I've managed to I've combined it with innuendo from other films. Okay, so there's quite a lot of Harry Potter ones, answers that are going to be Harry Potter, but then I've mixed in some others as well. Is that okay? So in each statement, in each quote I read out, the answer's either going to be A, B, or C, Harry Potter, if that makes sense. So one of your possible options is always going to be Harry Potter. Have you ever watched Harry Potter before?
I've seen all 8 films, I think.
Oh, that's good. Okay, so you might...
I've probably not paid that much attention to a couple of the films, but I think at some point I have seen all of them.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so it might help you out. Are you ready then? So, Statement number 1. Can I look at Uranus 2?
So I don't think that's going to be Harry Potter. I'm not sure. Sorry, were you going to give me an A, B, and a C?
Oh yeah, sorry. A, Disney's Hercules. B, Sound of Music. Or C, Harry Potter.
I don't think it's Harry Potter because I don't think. I was going to say they don't do much in terms of plots, but I think there is Emma Thompson who plays Professor Trelawney, who's the sort of divination teacher. So maybe there is a bit of scope for it, but I don't think it is her. So the other options were Hercules or
Disney's Hercules or Sound of Music.
Sound of Music. I'm not sure where it'd feature in the Sound of Music, so I'm going to say Disney's Hercules.
So that one is Harry Potter. The full statement is, can I look at Uranus 2, Lavender? And it's said by Ron Weasley, and he says it to his teacher, who might be Emma Thompson, I'm not 100% sure. I think it's possibly one of the teachers who he says it to. Is a bit of a strange sort of... Sometimes I've tried to pick accidental innuendo, but sometimes it sounds quite purposeful. But with it being Harry Potter, it seems a bit odd. Anyway, number 2. You ready?
Yep.
Did it go in? Negative. Just impacted on the surface. So your possible options here are A, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, B, Star Wars, or C, Harry Potter.
Hang on. So, well, I mean, and we're sure this is not Carry On somewhere along the lines. I don't think that's Harry Potter related. Did it go in? It just touched on the surface. Yeah, I mean, it could sort of suggest some kind of spell that's hit him, but even then, I don't think that's particularly likely. So I'm going to say that is... What was the first two options?
Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs or Star Wars?
Well, I've never heard of... I'm going to say Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, albeit that's not a film I've ever heard of.
No, it was Star Wars. There you go. Number 3, when you come, use the back door. So your possible answers are A, West Side Story, B, Billy Elliot, or C, Harry Potter.
Well, I think it's a bit mean to say it might be Billy Elliot. I think... I think this might be Harry Potter. And I think it might be when they sneak out to see What's the Robbie Coltrane character called?
Hagrid.
Yeah, I think it might have been when they went to see him at some point, maybe. Maybe when didn't he have an animal that got killed in one of the films, Prisoner of Azkaban?
They do sneak out quite a lot to see him, don't they?
Yeah, so I think it might have been them one of the times I saw him, so I'm going to say that.
No, you've not got one right, have you yet? I don't think. No, it was actually it was West Side Story, that one, and it was a character called Maria who said it. I think that's based on Romeo and Juliet, into West Side Story. And if you ever seen it before, it's like a musical, possibly, maybe.
Yeah, I think it's loosely based on two rival factions, the Jets and the Sharks. I think, West Side Story, and yeah, loosely based on Romeo and Juliet.
Are you ready? Next one. I want you to mount it and grip it tight. You don't want to be sliding off the end. So, is that A, Fox and the Hound by Disney, or B, Over the Hedge, which is a DreamWorks film, or C, Harry Potter?
That must be Harry Potter, and it must be a reference to riding a broomstick, I would have thought.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah, I'm going to say Harry Potter riding a broomstick.
Yeah, you're correct. It's Professor Hooch when she's giving them the first broomstick riding lesson. And that's the one that I was watching that made me think this would be a good quiz if I could pick out innuendo from Harry Potter films. But you know, when I've Googled innuendo in Harry Potter films, this one isn't even mentioned. People have completely not seen this one. I want you to mount it and grip it tight. You don't want to be sliding off the end. No, nobody's even noticed that one. It was just me and my dirty mind. But anyway, next one. Number 5. Get in there, you big furry oaf. I don't care what you smell. So, is it A, Monsters, Inc., B, Star Wars, or C, Harry Potter?
Yeah, big furry oaf. I think there are a lot of people who are referred to as big oafs, but I'm not sure about big furry oaf. Sorry, that's in Harry Potter. So I've never seen Monsters, Inc. film. So, I think there is a furry character in it. So I'm going to say Monsters, Inc.
No, it is Star Wars, and I think it's Han Solo talking to Chewbacca.
Yeah,
so there you go. Number 6, 12 and a quarter. Here we go. Sorry, start again. Number 6, 12 and a quarter inches. Ash, pleasantly springy. It's in fine condition. You treat it regularly. Polished it last night. A, Mary Poppins Returns, B, Trolls World Tour, or C, Harry Potter?
Mary Poppins Returns, is that sort of the new Mary Poppins film?
Yeah. With Emily Blunt plays...
Mary Poppins?
Yes. Very good as well, actually. She did a very good job at it, I thought.
Yeah, I've not seen it. I've seen the original Mary Poppins. Similarly with the Trolls film, I think I've seen the original Trolls film, but not the sequel. Is it a sequel Trolls film?
Yeah.
That you mentioned? Yeah, I've only seen the original to that. I think, from what you're saying, where they talk, was it say 12.5 inches, Ash, do you polish it regularly? I think that might be Harry Potter. I think it might be a reference to a wand.
Very good. Okay.
And by that, I mean an actual magic wand as opposed to anything else.
Well done. And from that to a similar sounding one. Number 7, oops, my wand is a little overexcited. A, Sword in the Stone, B, Lord of the Rings, or C, Harry Potter?
Well, I mean, it could feasibly be Harry Potter on this one, couldn't it? Any point, but I think that might be a bit obvious. They have one. I've never seen Lord of the Rings films, really, so I don't know if they have wands in them or not. Do they have wands in that Lord of the Rings films? I don't quite know what Lord of the Rings is all about, whether it's about sort of wizardry and all that sort of stuff. So I might be tempted to say the first one, which is Sword in the Stone. Yeah, I'll go for that.
That is actually another Harry Potter one. Okay. So you've got 2 right, and they've both been Harry Potter, haven't they, so far? So number 8. This one kind of goes back a little bit to your opening show and tell.
My rod. Yeah.
Red, can you move over? I want to get a look at that sexy rod. So is this A, Disney's Cars, B, Alvin and the Chipmunks, or C, Harry Potter?
Did you say Red? So it'd help if I actually knew if any of these films have got a character called Red in them, perhaps. It would make some sense. Well, I know one of the Chipmunks is is red. Well, one of the chipmunks wears red. Alvin, Simon, and Theodore, the three chipmunks. One wears red, one wears blue, one wears green.
Yep.
But I don't think they're ever referred to as the colours. As where I think is one of the cars in Cars called Red. I think so. I think it's going to be Cars.
Well done. Which I think is pretty. it's pretty full on innuendo for a kids' film, that, isn't it? Really.
So can you just read the quote out again, please? If that's all right.
Red.
Straight face, ideally.
Can you move over? I want to get a look at that sexy hot rod.
Yeah, that's quite.
But
quite obvious,
that's what they call cars, though, isn't it? They call them hot rods, don't they? In some, is that right? Some cars get called hot rods. Yeah, I think there's a saying. Sure, it is. Hot rods. Anyway,
I don't know. It's the first I've heard of it.
Number 9.
I think that.
Yeah.
I think that was a nickname once for Rodney Trotter in Only Fools and Horses, wasn't it? Hot Rod.
Yeah, well, I think that might be where it comes from. I'm sure it's a car-based term, but anyway. Number 9. Hey, no one takes my wife's mouth except me. A. Ugly Dolls. B. Toy Story 3. Or C. Harry Potter.
I don't see that becoming Harry Potter because there's not many married characters that are in it that much. I wonder whether or not. I mean, it could be a topical question anyway. And could it be said by the character who is nowadays referred to as Potato Head, not Mr. Potato Head, because they're trying to get him to be gender neutral. Or, sorry, they're trying to get them to be gender neutral. Is that right?
That would be very, very good thinking, yeah.
So, and I think that Mr. Potato Head's wife, also called Potato Head, who's married to Potato Head, so it gets a bit confusing when both the husband and wife have got the same names nowadays.
I'd like to now show Potato and Potato.
I hope you enjoy giving her head.
You made out kiss the potato.
Yes. So please have as much to drink as you want tonight and get totally mashed. I think it might be Toy Story 3 then. I think it might be a reference to the Potato Heads.
Well done, yeah. Congratulations. Well worked out, yeah. And I thought that was quite good because it has been in the news, hasn't it, that recently. Yeah, my daughter's got the Potato Heads. But that's the thing, because I suppose the brand itself wouldn't want to just, like, kind of make them gender neutral, because that means then when they sell the Potato Head things, they've got to sell all the parts for both different types of features, haven't they? Moustaches and red lips and hats and handbags, and whereas they could have sold them separately and made more money from it. Because that's what I did. I had to buy when it was Mr. Potato Head and Mrs. Potato Head. I had to buy them separately. Yeah,
I mean, I'm assuming that that's the whole point, really. They don't want to stereotype people as to having certain ways of doing things. I mean, you mentioned sort of certain things, moustaches, red lips. I mean, I've met plenty of women in my time who have moustaches and all that sort of stuff. So there's nothing wrong with that. And I suppose it's trying to treat people equally and the same. I mean, to be honest, I wasn't aware that the Potato Head came with some kind of detachable genitalia of any form, so I don't really see why it's all that big an issue. Yeah, or it's probably the case that they didn't have that. I don't know. It is a bit confusing, though, isn't it? Really.
Yeah, I suppose, like you say, like just because they've included a moustache in the thing doesn't mean it has to be a mister because it's got a moustache, I suppose. Like, anyway, that reminds me, I need to phone my gran soon. Anyway, number 10. One can get too familiar with vegetables, So is that A, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 2, B, Ratatouille, or C, Harry Potter?
Well, I don't think vegetable. So obviously, I'm focusing on Harry Potter to start with because that's obviously what the round is. I don't particularly think vegetables focus that much of a part of Harry Potter. Although they do one lesson called herbology, which is something to do with herbs and that sort of stuff, which is obviously slightly different to vegetables. So I wonder whether it might be Ratatouille, which is obviously about being a chef and therefore might involve vegetables.
You going with that?
So I'm going to say Ratatouille, yeah.
Well done. Yep, that's in Ratatouille, that one. Number 11. Head down, arms in, knees apart. Is that from A, Tangled, B, Princess and the Frog, or C, Harry Potter?
Head down, arms in, knees apart. That might be that could be Harry Potter, couldn't it? Could this be when he's doing some of the? It's not time traveling that they do, but they disappear then reappear in different places. So I think it might be part of that, perhaps, when he goes on takes like some flu powder or that sort of stuff. So I'm going to say Harry Potter for this one.
No, I've watched this film quite a few times with Ada actually, but I've never noticed it. It's Entangled, and it's Flynn who says that Entangled. There you go. Number 12.
Is that basically loosely based on Rapunzel?
Yeah, long hair
yeah.
and all that. Yeah. There's 2 more left. Number 12, that cherry chasing dot muncher. Is this A, Ice Age, B, Wreck-It Ralph? Also sounds a bit like Number C, Harry Potter.
Number C. Sorry, did you say number C?
Number C.
Yeah. I don't see there's any direct link that I can think of to Harry Potter there, so I'm going to say Wreck-It Ralph. Okay.
Well done. So yeah, that's correct. I think he's actually Wreck-It Ralph the character himself. It's quite a good film actually. It's about video games and arcade games and stuff, and the characters that, in a sense, a bit like Toy Story, where they're alive sort of thing, but they're in the video games. And yeah, I think he's possibly talking about Fix It Felix or something like that. Might be wrong. And then number 13, save a good one till last. Number 13, he put a bit of himself in me. A, Aladdin, the live-action remake, though. B, Madagascar, or C, Harry Potter.
So he put a little bit of himself in me. I mean, that would be appropriate for Aladdin, surely.
And I've got to say, I have edited this quote slightly.
Right. Is it Dragon's Den the musical, where they got talking about putting 10% of something into... So the options were...
A, Aladdin, the live-action remake.
Live-action remake, yeah.
B, Madagascar, or C, obviously Harry Potter. And the quote is, he put a bit of himself in me.
Oh, could it be... I think it might be Harry Potter, and I think it might be a reference to Voldemort sort of putting part of himself into Harry. Voldemort obviously is a character who is well known for having a massive snake, if you're aware of this.
And he put a bit of it in Harry Potter.
Yeah, I think I believe there is some kind of bit where he transferred part of his soul in. I mean, that sounds just as bad, really, doesn't it? Into Harry Potter. So I think it's that, and I think it's that kind of reference to Voldemort.
Yeah. So the actual quote is, Voldemort put a bit of himself in me, but obviously I couldn't include that in this question, otherwise it'd be a bit of a giveaway. But there you go, that was a bit of a carry-on Harry Potter innuendo. Did you enjoy that?
That was very good, thank you, Jimbo, well done.
So now, before we move on to the news, let's have a little bit of a word from our advertisers. Hello, Expert Event Planners here. Our organisation specialises in planning your perfect event, whatever the occasion. Our meticulous planning means not a thing is out of place and everything is organised and timed to the finest detail. We are used to managing large crowds and use our own tried and tested traffic light system to manage crowd flow. Although it didn't quite work out at last year's Colourblind convention, which really upset the Colourblind Association manager. He was pretty angry and saw red, although he probably didn't. We also take care of all your dietary requirements, unless you're attending the obesity convention. We do signage too. Attendees of a sex addiction group event left us very positive reviews about our signage. They left us some feedback on our rear and front entrance, but Julie managed to wipe off the stains. To find out what we offer, please attend our free online webinar that we've organised for Tuesday the 30th of February at 10 AM. You could find these details on our website, but our designer's running behind schedule, so it's not there yet. I thought we'd just start off with a headline of the week, and the headline is Face of Les Dennis found on Mars. Not exactly sure what newspaper that was from, but it's quite a strange story, and I think Les Dennis has actually shared it himself as well. So, obviously, I think, is it the US or is it Russia or something? Or is it even SpaceX? They managed to land something on Mars, haven't they, and actually do a bit of exploring and stuff. It's quite a been in the news a little bit, and but somebody's zoomed in on a rock, and it appears to have it is quite spooky actually. I mean, I don't know how much editing's been done to it, and if there has a lot of editing been done to it, then it's not spooky at all. But it does look like a face on a rock. Whether it's Les Dennis or not, I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, he didn't. Wasn't there something with Les Dennis a few years ago with him being part of some artwork in Norwich? Or am I imagining this? Wasn't someone who kept writing the word Les Dennis on various walls in Norwich? Or am I just making this up?
No, I think you might be right, because I did see somebody say from Norwich to Mars or something. I didn't know Les Dennis had much of a link to Norwich really, unless that is actually where he's from. I don't know.
No, it's not from Norwich. No. So yeah, well done for Les Dennis on making it from Norwich to Mars and expanding himself out. The first man on Mars. Yeah. I never thought it would be Les Dennis, to be honest.
But is it Les Dennis though? Our survey says. Anyway, probably not quite the right sound, but anyway. So, moving on to news then. So we mentioned we started talking about the budget and so on, didn't we? Mm-hmm. But that's coming up on Wednesday. So they're expecting support for retail and hospitality, hopefully, or there should be. They probably won't be feeding the children, obviously, but they are planning on doing various other things with the budget.
I mean, obviously they will be feeding the children, as you say, Jimbo. They're hoping to starve them that much that they end up going to hospital, suffering from malnutrition, and then they might get some meals in the hospital. Yeah. Obviously, I think is what might happen. No, but it's obviously a very difficult time trying to balance the books, no doubt, for Rishi Sunak and the government.
Especially
at the moment.
There's not really any books to balance, is there? I'm afraid. I think that's the issue, isn't it? They've spent up.
Yeah, the magic money tree that didn't exist. It turned out that actually it did exist, and they spent loads of money from it, which is quite frustrating, really, that sort of it takes something like this to actually pour money into the community and sort of keep the economy going. I find it interesting. Where does all this money go to, though? I mean, there must be some people who are doing well out of this. Sure, I mean, I don't quite understand the whole point of adding value and creating money and wealth creation and all that sort of stuff at times. Because people you can only spend what people have earned. I don't know.
But it's not a real thing anyway, is it? This is the whole thing. It's not a real thing anyway.
Money is a real thing. I can tell you that. I mean, there's some of it here. Look, I mean, it's 20 pence piece. That is a real thing. And there's some here. Oh, sorry, that's a bottle top. Yeah, that's from a beer earlier on. But yeah, money is a real thing. But yeah, I don't quite understand how. It's just there must be some people who do well out of this pandemic. For people who are doing badly, there's some people doing well financially.
Well, Matt Hancock's mates.
Yeah, yes. For example, if you happen to run some kind of bed and breakfast near where Matt Hancock lives, then you might have ended up with a PPE contract worth millions of pounds. Or I think there's his local pub owner who has got a PPE contract, and it was noticed by someone that Matt Hancock actually had a picture of that pub on his wall when he was doing Zoom interviews.
Well, I mean, at least because he claimed it had nothing to do with it, didn't he? Or no connection to whatever. But at least they're making a bit of money back from fines, though.
They are making some money back from fines. So, for example, I think if you hold a mass gathering, you can get fined potentially £10,000. And this happened to a church congregation who met in a car park, and they had some kind of sermon and a speech from the person running the. I think as well as that, people got out the cars and they sort of had a little barbecue or something like that, and a campfire and all that kind of thing. And they were fined apparently £10,000 by the police. Yeah. I think the person who organised it said that they're in a public car park, and they thought it was just a case of pray and display.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't great, was it, for the person, the vicar who organised that, because he got out of his car into the car park, stood in some dog crap, holy crap, he said, and he just went from bad to worse, though, didn't it? Because then they got slapped with a 10k fine. So
yeah, all that. Well, yeah, that's one of those things that unfortunately happens if you don't follow the rules as you should do. I'm trying to think what else has been in the news. Well, we talk about a man who got invited for a COVID vaccine. I think it's probably worth pointing out as well that we've now vaccinated. Is it over 20 million people in the UK?
Yeah, I suppose you've got to give him credit for how well our country seems to be doing with the vaccination programme.
Yeah.
Everybody
to everyone involved in that.
Everybody holds their breath with it, don't they? Because you know what it's like with us. Like, flash forward 12 months. what's the results of that, what's happened, but it seems to be going well so far.
To be honest, Jimbo, I'll be able to count the problems on my 7 fingers after it's been done. So and there is one person who I think was based in Liverpool who was invited for a COVID jab on the basis that his BMI, is it BMI index, is it called, that was quite high?
Yeah. Because he was confused, wasn't he? Why? I think what is he? Was he sort of our kind of age, really, sort of in his either sort of late 20s or 30s, he seemed,
which is not our age, but yeah.
Anyway, he seemed to think he was well and fine and wasn't particularly at risk or anything, but he was invited for a COVID jab and was a bit confused by it, weren't he?
Yeah, and they said that he had a very high body mass index, BMI index. I think if you've got a BMI of over 25, then it's quite dangerous. Unhealthy. I think his was well into the thousands. It turned out that he had his height down as being about 6 centimetres as opposed to 6 feet or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, which is not really very good. So because of that, I'm surprised there was no one who actually checked. Is this man taller than 6 centimetres? No, he isn't. Oh well. Yeah, I think there might be an error there, perhaps, because you can't actually have a human man that is only 6 centimetres tall. To be fair, the government have leapt to the defence of the NHS trust who did it and said it's just another case of downsizing within the NHS.
It's short-sightedness. That's what it is.
Hey.
But anyway,
so I mean, can babies be born that are less than 6 centimetres?
Possibly. I mean,
just over 2 inch.
The gentleman's looking forward to when because obviously last week as well, since before our last episode, they announced the roadmap out of lockdown. This is another thing. So it's when you say roadmap out of lockdown. So I've been working this week at my usual sort of job role and stuff, and I must have heard the word roadmap mentioned about 5 times, not related to the COVID out of lockdown roadmap. It's like that's the sort of word to put to everything now. So should we do a roadmap of our upcoming episodes, Fisher? Or should we just decide not to use that word just because it seems to be the topical word at the minute?
Yeah, let's do 92 next, then 93, then 94 until we get to 100. Yeah,
but he's looking. This gentleman who's obviously was invited for this jab because they thought he was 6 centimeters tall. He's looking forward to it because he's he's looking forward to the roadmap out of lockdown. By the end of sort of March, early April, he'll be able to go to other people's pockets rather than just have to stay in his own sort of pocket. He'll be.
I mean, at the moment, he's not enjoying it. Just sat in that thimble all day, as he calls it. But yeah, I mean, Boris Johnson, he has announced. I can't remember if it's a 4 or 5 step roadmap out of lockdown. I did think it was very appropriate that he's also got the same amount of steps that I do per day nowadays. So that's very good, very helpful.
It does seem very strange. I was talking to another friend about this. I do have other friends other than you, and it seems very strange that it's on this day we'll do this. You can mix a little bit. You can have either 6. This is another thing. You can either have 6 people in a garden together or 2 households. Does that mean 6 households of one individual person of each household, or?
Believe so, yeah.
Well, I don't think anybody's 100% sure on it, but anyway. And then, and then when it gets into May, you'll be able to do a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And then when it gets to 21st of June, you can just do whatever you want. It just seems very sudden at the end. Yeah,
I mean, it's all a very strange and unusual place of doing things at the moment. It seems to be tied in. Am I right in thinking that the final day of it is the halfway point of the year, the equinox day?
Right, okay.
So I didn't realise the virus sort of was contained by where the moon moved to in relation to the Earth, but that's a strange way.
Of course,
it's the gravitational pull.
It's Boris Johnson's birthday,
the virus off us.
And it's also Boris Johnson's birthday the weekend after as well. So
is it?
Obviously, he's timed that quite nicely as well, so that the pubs are all open and he can do what he wants for his birthday.
Yeah, what are the chances of that? But there we go.
Lockdown 4 on the 28th of June or whatever.
Straight away while he's recovering from his hangover, he announces a lockdown 4. What else has been going on? You've written something about Mick Foley.
Have you heard of Mick Foley before?
Yeah, is he the wrestler who played Mankind and Cactus Jack?
Yeah. So he tweeted to sort of congratulate the Big Show on his move to AEW Wrestling, I think it is, because there's various different wrestling federations now, not just WWE and all the other ones, and whatever they call them now, TNT. Probably, I don't know. Probably got these completely wrong. That was old anyway. So
TNT is that when they're just fighting, just like throwing bits of dynamite at each other? But it's hand delivered by a courier. Mick
Foley tweeted to congratulate him. So he's tweeted at the Big Show, whatever, on your move to, and then basically accidentally tweeted a Cowden Beef MP, SNP MP. And then had to apologise. So they've also made out like the Big Show was moving to Scotland. But yeah, I thought it was quite amusing. I just wanted to mention it because I wanted to do a quiz actually based on times that people have sent tweets to the wrong people.
That'd be a good one, wouldn't it? Yeah.
But it was quite
Trump.
Yeah, he's done it a couple of times, but I was struggling to find enough. It's quite hard putting our quizzes together sometimes, isn't it? Because you've got to go through a lot of individual news articles and so on.
Yeah.
But a friend of mine, Gary Lyon, who's you've met Gary Lyon before. He often gets...
you once tried to tweet him, didn't you? I remember, but accidentally you tweeted an actual lion, didn't you? I mean, that was terrible.
No, well, he has issues with his Twitter because he often gets tweets. I'm sure it's something like some sort of Australian rules football coach. He gets tweets from them instead, or like people thinking he's an Australian rules football coach. And then again, Jimbo and Fisher. If you ever Google Jimbo and Fisher, we are an actual. I think we're a baseball coach, aren't we, Jimbo Fisher? Have you seen that before? Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Imagine if someone tried to hire them for their baseball team and they said they got us turning up. Just try and just throw the ball as hard as you can, and then just try and hit it, and you'll be fine. You know, don't worry about it.
Yeah,
I can't imagine we would make good baseball coaches.
No.
So yeah, I remember Donald Trump, didn't he try and tweet Theresa May, but accidentally, because isn't there a porn star called Theresa May? Didn't he accidentally tweet her instead? Actually, was that an accident?
It might have been before, because I mean, I'm guessing that. Because there's a Sheffield Wednesday footballer, well, a former Sheffield Wednesday footballer, they really shouldn't have let him go, who's working wonders at Bolton now, Kieran Lee. And there is also a porn star called Kieran Lee as well. So I'm guessing that's happened to them and vice versa a couple of times too. So there's certainly a quiz in there somewhere, isn't there? And then finally, I don't know if just something I spotted this morning, but a plastic surgeon had to appear on Zoom for a court hearing. I'm not exactly sure what the court hearing was about and why, whether he was at fault for something or whether he was just sort of some sort of witness or whatever. But he appeared on Zoom while operating on a patient.
Did he say, "Oh no, this is just the background. It's the background I've got." Yeah.
Oh no, he had the full mask on and he was just sort of working away, doing his surgery while they were sort of speaking to him. Very odd. So if that person wakes up with like an ear on the shoulder or something like that, then there's the explanation.
Well, what was the thing? You don't take any care over the procedures that you do, and you always get distracted in the middle of them. Oh, no, that's not true. I'm putting a lot of effort into this one at the moment. Can you imagine turning up in court like and just taking a deck of cards with you and sort of playing a game of patience while you're there or something along those lines? Surely you can't really operate on a patient while you're taking place in a court hearing, honestly. Dear me.
Should we move on?
Let's move on, yeah.
So I'm looking forward to this, Fisher. You've got something interesting planned, haven't you?
Well, I wouldn't quite go that far, but I've got something different planned. We did a quiz on Friday nights, sort of our groups of friends. We did a quiz. We got a couple of rounds in it, and I thought I'd actually sort of redo some of the questions that we did on that quiz. So it'd actually be a slightly more formal quiz today, sort of the kind of thing that could be, I was going to say serious, but that's not strictly true. So one of the rounds, the last round we did sort of a guess, hear the voice and kind of guess who it is, the celebrity who's speaking. So we'll do that. We'll do the same ones that we did. I think on this, we'll see how many you get, Jimbo. The most anyone got on this was 9, and the worst anyone got on it was 5. It was quite a very tightly scored quiz, this as well. The winners on the quiz that we did got 45.5, and the lowest scoring team got 42. So, out of the 5 teams. And at one point, after 4 rounds, all 5 teams had scored 31 points. So I was quite pleased with that. It's kind of a good quiz that it's kind of quite evenly scored, and there aren't runaway winners in it. So we've got 10 celebrities, and I'm going to play their kind of voice in, and all you got to do is say who the celebrity is. And after we've done that, then I've got another round called Sound Charades that we did, where it was kind of guess the film. So we'll do some celebrities first, if that's all right.
Okay.
I get in trouble for not playing bigger venues, actually, because there is quite... People get pretty pissed off that I don't play bigger venues.
Because they can't get tickets.
Yes. I've been playing amphitheatres, which are outside, and they're beautiful, and you get to see the audience when you go on. But no, I mean, I'm not a massive fan of touring.
Who was that?
I reckon that's Adele.
Adele, well done, correct. 1 point. Now, I'll be honest, I think you're going to get this one fairly quickly.
To the American people, I want you to listen to me. I'm going to say this again. I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
So, that, I don't know if you know, but that's for someone who doesn't know the meaning of the word not.
Right.
Because when he said not, what he meant was definitely did.
Okay. So that's got to be... it's got to be Bill Clinton.
It is quite right, it is William Clinton. As I say, claimed he didn't have sexual relations, although if that's his impression of not having sexual relations, then, Hillary Clinton must be a very, very filthy woman, is all I can really say on that matter. But to be fair, the whole thing was blown out of proportion, as was he, apparently. So. Anyway, next up.
When LBC started, funnily enough, I was one of the first presenters, and I used to do phone-ins, and phone-ins are quite carefully controlled. I mean, the questions would have been vetted, the people would be vetted, and you heard his answer. I thought, it's just banal. What can you say in such...
Oh.
Who do you think?
This is a tough one. I think I almost can picture her, but I don't know who it is. Has she been in Loose Women?
Sorry, was that Harry Potter, or was it? She has been. I believe she has been on Loose Women. Yeah, not that particularly paying attention to it, but yeah, I think she's a regular on Loose Women.
That's what I would have thought. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to get it, I'm afraid.
It's Janet Street Porter.
Right. Okay.
I think you probably know who she is.
Yeah, I could picture her. I could see her face.
I
could see her face. I just couldn't. Yeah, I couldn't remember her name.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, let's move from Loose Women onto this one. Hang on, I just need to find her. Where is she listed on this? I thought we got it in. I thought we got it in some kind of good order. Here we go.
You're listening to the Waste of Web Space podcast.
If I go out, okay, I'm a big lightweight, but they use pictures of me like that, blinking or like that, as if like I'm absolutely off my head. And that's what they did when I was younger, pictures like that, and they just made it look worse than what it was.
It sounds like Katie Price.
You'll be correct. Well done.
I'm enjoying this.
Yeah, this next one is a character.
Okay.
Everyone needs to refuel from time to time. Me, I like to fill up on bananas and tasty protein shakes. If you're a car, you're going to need petrol. That means going to a petrol station. Check this out.
I'm not sure. Is it Mr. T?
It is Mr. T.
Yay.
Well done. So you got 4 out of 5 so far. There's 5 left. I think you'll probably get this one. Let's see what you think.
How much money would you have put in William Hill a year ago that I'd have been up against you for a BAFTA, and you'd have had me on your radio show, and this show, you would have said, string me up. If it ever happens, kill me.
I'm not too sure it is, but if you noticed at the start of it, he said, how much money would you put in William Hill? I mean, that's not actually how you place a bet. You don't go up to a person with that name and insert the money straight into him. You have to go to the counter and...
Play that again.
So, you want to play it again? Okay.
Yeah.
How much money would you have put in William Hill a year ago that I'd have been up against you for a BAFTA, and you'd have had me on your radio show, and this show, you would have said, string me up. If it ever happens, kill me.
Oh, that's tough. It's probably I bet it's more obvious than what I'm thinking, but it's not. It sounds to me. This is going to be a bit of a random answer. It's not Dr. Hillary, is it?
It is not Dr. Hillary, unfortunately. One person incorrectly said, "Was this Nigel Farage?" Which it isn't. Are you done, or do you want to have a final stab in the dark?
Yeah, I think I'm. Unless it's Jeremy Kyle, I don't think it is, but no.
No. Well, maybe do you want to listen to it again? Obviously, it sounds like someone who's had a bit of a comeback of some form and has had some success. But obviously, I think it talks about being nominated for a BAFTA. So let's have another listen, please.
How much money would you have put in William Hill a year ago that I'd have been up against you for a BAFTA, and you'd have had me on your radio show, and this show, you would have said...
I think you've got
I've got it now. It's Noel Edmonds, isn't it?
It is Noel Edmonds.
So was that referring to Deal or No Deal, do you think? From some years ago?
So, I would have guessed it. I think it's a good few years ago, that, yeah.
Yeah.
Bear in mind, the Bill Clinton one was...
I don't think anyone would take that bet now.
Yeah. I think the Bill Clinton one must have been from, 25 years ago? Something like that. So, yeah, there are some slightly older ones in here. Next up, let's do about this one.
I did have an affair in America with my co-judge, and it was something which... It was the biggest mistake of my life, because actually I still love my wife, and I'm at that point at the moment where we're talking, we are working to get back together again. But it's going to take time, and at the end of the...
I don't know his name, but is it Sean something from Strictly?
No, that's not. No, although Strictly obviously could be an ample place where people have affairs.
Oh, so it's not Strictly based.
What was that, sorry?
It's not Strictly.
It's not Strictly based, no. It's not the Curse of Strictly.
Oh, play it again.
Okay. I think there might be a clue just literally on the first couple of words he says.
Yeah.
I did have an affair in America with my co-judge, and it was something which... It was the biggest mistake of my life, because actually I still love my wife, and I'm at that point at the moment where we're talking, we are working to get back together again. But it's going to take time, and at the end.
He says co-judge in America, I think he says. So was he on some sort of like Pop Idol or Dancing with the Stars or something, X Factor America or?
Well, it's definitely not Len Goodman or Bruno Tonioli, put it that way. But you're not a million miles away. Yeah, it's some kind of show that has judges on it. Yeah,
I'm going to struggle with that one. Judge. Yeah, I'm going to struggle with that one.
Okay. He's gone to America. He's gone to California. He's tried to make it big in America. Where's he gone to?
Hollywood. Paul Hollywood.
Paul Hollywood. It's Paul Hollywood.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think I know enough about Paul Hollywood's sort of private life or whatever, so I wouldn't have thought that might have been it. I don't really watch that much Bake Off either. So
yeah, I mean, tell you what, you ought to see what he gets up to with his baguette by the sounds of it. But there we go. So I think you'll get this next one, but let's. My favourite.
Someone gets a soggy bottom anyway.
Yeah. Well, that's what he gets up to in his spare time. So I think you'll get this one. This is probably my favourite out of all the sound clips.
Pull down my trousers and pants, arouse my dinkle till it was stiff, and yelled, "Flag! Impel yourself on that!"
So that is Russell Brand, I think.
You are quite right. That is Russell Brand.
Really good. Brilliant stuff. Enjoyed that.
Yeah, well, I've not finished yet.
But I need a wee.
All right, sorry.
Do you want me to play a little advert for Alien Audio in the middle? We heard it last week, unless you want to keep people going.
Well, I'll tell you what, I can play the next two sound... Well, yeah, go on, play the advert for Alien Audio, and then we'll...
Alien Audio, the pub, is now open at Jimbo's, but just for Jimbo. Alien Audio is an exciting, funky new garden bar in the heart of Yorkshire, which was once an old converted shed. Due to the current lockdown restrictions, we have a strict policy on our clientele. If your name is not Jimbo, then unfortunately, you will not be permitted entrance to the bar. Sunday night is quiz night, a general knowledge quiz. Hot favourite to win this week is Jimbo. We have our live sports showing most nights of the week. come down and see your favourite footballers such as Raheem Sterling and Mo Farah on the big projector. Or, if golf is your thing, then come and watch Tiger Woods, Rory McIlroy and Gareth Bale on the green. Friday night is live music night. Come and hear Jimbo belt out a few classics. Saturday night is karaoke night, when anyone can get up and sing a song. Come and hear Jimbo belt out a few classics. We have beer on tap and lovely customers. One of our regulars, Jimbo, often goes in the pub late at night for a quick hand pull. Our friendly bar staff, Jimbo, is happy to help you, although he might not be there to help you as he recently barred his only customer for bad behaviour. Okay, I'm back. So, yeah, I enjoyed the first part of your quiz. And now we're on to sound charades, is that right?
Yeah, go on. I got two more, but yeah, let's go.
Oh, sorry. Well, charades, if you want to carry on doing the others, it's fine.
Nah, so I'm happy to finish on Russell Brand. Not in that way, obviously. But so we've got a round called Sound Charades, which, actually, to be fair, is something I first heard on I'm Sorry, which is a program I mentioned last week. And they do a game called Sound Charades, and we did this as something different on our quiz. So what we've done, myself and my lovely wife Vicky, who I managed to cajole into taking part in this, was describe the name of 10 films. I'll play them one by one for you. And you don't, to be fair, for most of them, what we're saying is not actually anything to do with the film. But if you put together what's going on, you will come to the name of the film, if that makes sense.
Right, okay.
So I'll play the first one for you.
Film, 2 words.
Potter? Stop doing that, you disgusting boy.
Do you want to hear that again?
So film, 2 words. The first word is stop doing that, you disgusting boy.
No, sorry. We're not describing the words at all. Film, 2 words, and just the title of the film can be summed up with the phrase, Potter, stop doing that, you disgusting boy.
Okay. Potter.
And it was Potter with a P. P for Papa.
So is it something to do with Harry Potter?
It could be something to do with Harry Potter. I mean, it's not Harry Potter, but it's, if you think there.
Oh, Fantastic Beasts.
No, as I say, just think of what's happening there and think of how that sums up and gets into the name. Think of what's going there and the name of a film that might link into it.
So somebody's doing something dirty.
Yep.
And it says Potter.
Yep. You are so close, it's untrue.
Dirty Harry.
Dirty Harry, well done.
Yes. Okay, I see how it's going to work now.
Yeah. So again, this one, again, what's happening is absolutely nothing to do with the actual film itself. But if you find out the situation, the words of that will link you to another film. Okay?
Make sure you hold your thingy close enough to your microphone.
Okay.
Film, 3 words, sort of.
Oh, hello. Could you come and mend my roof tiles, please?
Of course I could. However, it will take me a full 4 weeks to complete the job.
So, can you come and mend my roof tiles, please? Of course I can. It will take me a full 4 weeks to complete the job. Again, this has got absolutely nothing to do... The film's got nothing to do with mending roof tiles or anything like that. But think about what's happening there.
It's going to be something to do with a month.
If it was February, maybe.
28 days later.
Quite right. 28 days later.
Oh, very clever.
Next up, there is a reference to Heston Blumenthal in this, by the way, in this next one. And Heston Blumenthal has got nothing whatsoever to do with it, I hasten to add. But he just happens to have a restaurant in this particular place.
Okay.
So don't get sidetracked with Heston Blumenthal. But the other stuff is important and relevant.
Film, 1 word.
Oh, Chris, this is a lovely place. Where is it?
We're in the beautiful Berkshire village of Bray, which is where Heston Blumenthal has his restaurant. Lovely place is Bray.
Oh, such a beautiful place.
Oh, Chris, is that you? That stinks.
Oh dear, I'm not going to get this. So it's one word. Film, one word. What's going on?
What's going on? So I say that we've gone for a nice walk in a place called Bray, and the atmosphere seems to get ruined somewhat by an unpleasant smell.
Um,
It's worth pointing out that someone actually got 10 out of 10 on this round as well.
That's good going.
Yeah.
Fart. And there's no film called
Oh.
Fart.
You get in there. Farts, yeah. Farts involved.
Fart.
Think about what's happening, where they've gone, who they're with.
Country fart.
Not
Fart
country
walk.
fart. Where are they?
The Buckinghamshire.
Not
In
quite
Bray.
in Buckinghamshire. Bray.
Fart Bray. Braveheart. Braveheart.
Well done.
Oh, that's very good. Someone did really well to get 10 out. Did he give him clues like you are me?
Nope, none whatsoever. Just played the clip. Played the clip sort of twice from and let them. I think a couple I only had to play it once.
Very good.
This next one, again, I think it's film one word.
Film, one word.
Good morning. Welcome to my shop. What can I get for you?
Hello, I wonder if it would help. I require some woolly neckwear. Would I be right in thinking you are the world's expert in terms of woolly neckwear?
Is that woolly neckwear?
Woolly neckwear.
And it's one word.
One word.
So Scarface.
Scarface.
Yeah.
Scarface. Well done, yeah. The top person, Scarface.
Very good.
I think most people got that one. On the, I did get quite a funny answer to this one, by the way, on the quiz. So let's play number 5 for you.
Film, 2 words.
Vic, do you want a hand washing the pots tonight?
Oh, yes.
So I'd probably also say there is a joke. There is a completely and utterly irrelevant bit of banter in this to do with dishwashers and one of the people on the quiz on Friday night. So that's not relevant where I start talking about clean the dishwasher filters, by the way.
Right.
Let's not sidetrack you with that on the thing, but there we go.
Film, 2 words.
Vic, do you want a hand washing the pots tonight?
Oh, yes, please. But the dishwasher's broke.
The dishwasher's broken, how come? Is it that we've not cleaned the filters again, eh, Bren? Hey. So, are we going to have to do it the manual way?
Yes, we're going to have to do it the old-fashioned way.
Okay, I'll give you a hand. Oh my God, are you washing them in there? That's massive.
So what's happening there, and what film does that sort of link into?
Bath wash or pot wash, pot baths? What? I don't know why I'm thinking baths, but
No, it's nothing to do with baths.
it's 2 words.
2 words, yeah.
Ocean,
And-
anything to do with the no.
No, I mean we're talking about something. Obviously, I'm expressing my surprise at how big something is. Where the pots have been washed.
Large wash. I'm really struggling with this one.
We've already mentioned this film already in this episode.
Have we?
You mentioned it, yeah.
Star Wars.
Not Star Wars, no.
In
Where do you wash pots?
the sink. The sink Titanic.
No, although that's what someone said. Titanic, because obviously Titanic is big, but also someone did point out that the Titanic sunk. But
So the sink.
yeah, you know,
Bowl.
think of another word for big.
Large sink.
Keep going.
Gigantic sink.
Keep going.
Huge sink.
Keep going.
Big sink.
Keep going.
Massive sink.
No, keep going. You'll get there eventually.
Large, massive. Huge, humongous.
Keep going.
Big.
Keep
I
No.
can't think of any other words. Like tall.
going. No, not tall. It
Huge.
might be a bit scary as well.
Big scary sink. I'm not going to get this one.
That's 3 words. Think of a film that you mentioned that kind of contains the word sink.
Right.
Look back at the films that you have for me.
I'm doing it right now. Lord of the Rings, Sword in the Stone, Mary Poppins, Monsters Inc., Monster Sink.
Monster Sink.
Fisher.
Well done.
Your friends must just be on the same wavelength as you. So I'm not going to give you that.
Well, to be fair, I'm quite glad you didn't give yourself a point for there. Bear in mind you had about 40 guesses at first. I think you should be able to get this one, but let's have a go.
Film, 5 words.
Good afternoon, sir. Welcome to the Native American Indian Hairdressers. Do you have a reservation?
Okay, love, there's no need to take the piss.
Please, take a seat. What style would you like?
I'd like a haircut where you shave off all the side bits of my hair, but leave a central strip in the middle of it. Can you do that for me?
I can, but it's the final time I'm ever going to do it.
It's not like, I mean, I don't know if it's a film I'm really... The Last... Is it The Last something?
Yes.
It's The Last Mohawk? Is that even a film?
Oh, well...
The Last of the Mohicans.
The Last of the Mohicans, quite right.
Yeah, not seen that film, or really not where it is, but I've heard the song, I've heard the film title before.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether you would have heard of this film or not, to be honest, the next one coming up, but this features some great voice acting from myself here, by the way.
Film, 3 words.
Good night, Vic, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. What have you been up to?
Oh, I've been really busy the last couple of days. I've been going around all the football clubs in the West Midlands and doing charity activities with them. So, yesterday I did karaoke with all the Aston Villa players. And then today I did a bit of stand-up comedy with the West Brom players. And then tomorrow, what I've got planned in is I'm going to go to the other Premiership team from that area and do the Paso Doble with them, do the tango, do the foxtrot.
3 words.
3 words, yeah.
Is it something to do with Brumme?
Well, it's specifically a football team from that area in the Premiership.
Ah, okay. Dancing with Wolves?
Dances with Wolves, yes, which is a film that you may or may not have heard of.
No, I've not heard of it. But, yeah, there we go.
Yeah, yes, I think it's a film about someone who kind of gets involved with sort of living in the wild and the animals, probably from about 1991, 92 with Kevin Costner, I think. Next up, this is probably the only one that actually contains any reference to the actual film in it, by the way. If that's okay.
Film, 2 words.
Vic, I'm just going to go to the shops.
Okay, do you know what you're buying?
Yeah, I've got everything sorted, and I've got to get for Oscar, who lives next door as well.
Do you know what you're getting for him?
Yeah, I know what I'm getting for Oscar. He's written everything down for me, which is quite helpful. I'll read out what he wants, if you like. So he needs bread, milk, potatoes, eggs, and then there's a little note at the bottom saying that he needs to save the life of about 1,200 Jews from the Holocaust.
Is it Schindler's List?
It is Schindler's List, yes.
What's the Oscar thing about? Is it
the character is called Oscar. Oscar Schindler.
Okay, I thought so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Next one. This next one is quite a modern film, so I don't know whether or not you might have heard of it. But let's see if you can just work out what it's called from what's happening.
Film, 4 words.
Hi there, Chris. How you doing?
Oh, very good, thank you. I've been really busy, though. I mean, I've been listening to all the local bands from this particular city that I live in. Been listening to the Stone Roses and Oasis, and I've been watching the football from these 2 teams that play in this city, City versus United. It's been really good.
Oh, sound. So how's work at the moment?
Oh, really, really busy. I mean, I've got a massive job on at the moment. I need to pick up this city that I live in and take it right over to the coast.
So what would you call the relocated city?
Manchester by the Sea.
It is Manchester by the Sea, yes.
Again, I've never heard of it, but from the clues, I could sort of work that out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good film.
Yeah, well done.
Is it a good film?
I think it's... Yeah, is it Casey Affleck got an Oscar, I think, in that. He might have won Best Actor Oscar for his part in that. I don't know.
I'll have to try some of these films.
Yeah. So this final one... sorry, we're on to the last one now. So apologies to people who have to endure this. But
It's been good. I've enjoyed it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is fairly easy and straightforward. You should be able to get this one, but there we go. Let's play this one for you.
Film 4 words.
Vic, can you hear that noise again?
Oh, no, it's that new neighbour. He's playing his violin on top of the house again.
Fiddler on the Roof.
It is Fiddler on the Roof. Well done.
Funny enough, I nearly said that earlier on for one of the first ones.
Right.
With what was that one? 28 Days Later.
28 Days Later.
I nearly went. I had Fiddler on the Roof in my head then. So yeah, very good.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that, Fisher.
Thank
that was
you
one
very
of my
much.
favourite quizzes in a while.
Yeah, so I think it was an 8 out of 10 there for that. So well done. Good,
Yeah.
Good score.
Thank you very much. Just give yourself an extra round of applause. Well, thank you very much, everybody, for watching, listening, taking it all in, whatever you've been up to, whether you've been watching live, whether you're watching afterwards to our audio version, or whether you're watching on YouTube later on, or however you're watching, whatever. Thank you. Please do get in touch with us, usual places. You can tweet us at Waste of Web Space, facebook.com/Waste of Web Space. Website wasteofwebspace.co.uk. Plenty of ways to get in touch, and we'll think up some more material for next week, won't we, Fisher?
Yeah, thank you very much, Jimbo. Very good episode. Really enjoyed it, and we'll see you again next week.
Thank you very much. Bye bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.